Here we are. We're live. Hello, Mark.
Anna, darling, good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. And you?
I've had better weeks, Anna.
Did you? Good morning, everybody, as well. Whoever's going to be joining us. Our sincere apologies for a slight delay. I myself actually barely missed the cutoff time. I popped out, and it's just typical. It's either one thing or the other. The other gets, stuck by somebody. Like I guess what happened to you, wasn't it?
Well, I left home this morning in good time, heading to my parents, and thought I'll get Gloria dropped off, head to her mum parents, and then speak to Anna. And I got on the road, and there was a tiny little country road, and I've got no way out. And once I've got down, there was a sugar beet lorry loading. So they've got this massive thing stuck across the field, which has got a spout out over the lorries, and all the lorries are queued up, and each one takes about 6 minutes to load. So until that one's gone, the next one can't go in. There's 3 lorries in front of me, and there's 2 behind me, so I can't even back up to go a different direction. I just had to sit there, and I was like, "Fucking farmers."
Yeah, lucky you could get through. We've been once before in a horrendous position where we're driven. I think it was like a Cornwall or Devon or something. And the roads are like absolutely tiny. They're like narrow.
Yeah, they are.
And if you're going in a tiny little road, one way, both ways, but tiny road, if you see a tractor, literally, it's just no way around. You're like, what? Oh, we're lucky. We're just that close. We've gone past. Tractor was going the other way. Anyway, it was horrendous. Anyhow. So I think people are joining in. I've seen there's an advert come up on the beginning. That's a bit strange. Anyway, so how are you, mate? How are you doing?
Well, we've had an interesting week, Anna. I put out a video last Saturday morning before I went out for the day to say that I'd got some information that I was going to release, and that this was breaking news. And within 2 hours, my Facebook account had been hacked, and I didn't have access to 50,000 followers. So,
no!
And I still haven't fully got access back. It was a bit of a tangled web, but what they've done was they've taken control of my Facebook account, which I've got back, but they've still got control of my advert account. So they're putting stuff out on adverts that, let's say, are only appropriate to over 18s, and it's when you click it, it goes to the food. It's advertising the Food Finders Hub, but when you click it, it goes off to one of these adult sites.
And some sites are charged as well, like by clicking, I think, aren't they?
Probably.
That's horrendous.
Adverts. Fortunately for me, my credit card details on Facebook were out of date, so they could only run it up to the £50 sort of threshold what Facebook allows us you to run up to. So fortunately, I've got a £50 bill and can't access me my Facebook account, and Facebook don't want to talk to me, which is about right. On the other side, they also got a load of money out of my bank account, but that was just how they did that was brilliant. I advertised on Facebook if anyone wanted to make a donation to the CIC, that there was the bank account details. So they didn't hack the bank. What they did was use the bank account details to pay for the road tax on about a dozen vehicles. So of course it drained all the money out of the bank. They were like £100 a go, and £200.
Don't you need to have like that CV thing, like the back of a card, or not? Or you like a bank transfer? No, you don't need
none of that. You just because you're setting it up as a direct debit, so you just literally need it as the bank details. That's all you need.
Right. So how can they trace them? Do you think? That's horrendous, Mark. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, well, we ended up that I spoke to Lloyd's Bank the minute I realised it had gone. I phoned the emergency fraud line, and within literally Lloyd's Bank were brilliant. Within 2 hours, I'd got all the money back, and they've now stopped that happening again. But it's just I've spent. I'm going to guess 12 hours on it as a minimum at the moment. Since the weekend, and probably more than that. And not just me. We've had 2 other IT people working on it as well to resolve it. Fortunately, the foodfindershub.org wasn't touched. Nothing on there was in any way, shape or form. Our security on there is absolutely brilliant.
What a horrendous thing to do, though. What for the cause, though? What are you doing? We're trying to achieve. This is ridiculous.
I think the problem is, Anna, as we all know, once you stick your head above the parapet and you talk out, then you can potentially come under fire. And I think that's probably what happened. I'm quite outspoken about certain things. I mean, one of them we need to talk about today. And I think that we're in the position at the moment of a very fragile world where people are trying to gear us towards certain things with other countries, which, you know, some people might speak out about, or if those things should happen, what those implications might be of those, which was one of the things I was talking about. You know, if we have this issue, which Europe's trying to push us into, then, you know, what will that look like from a food, you know, food stability and food preservation point of view?
Yeah, but it's not like it's a too controversial issue. We're talking about just a food security and a food stability, and just doing it better for the country and for the people. So that's ridiculous.
I guess, though, it depends what the agenda is, Anna, doesn't it? Because, you know, we know there's definitely a different agenda afoot to what you and I might have. For instance, you know, you and I talk about making sure you got enough food, and, you know, how that food gets from the fork to the plate. But if someone's got a different agenda, you know, especially in, let's say, reducing the population and doesn't want common knowledge to be common knowledge, then they might have a different approach to it. So it's been an interesting week. We've had lots going on. And I guess on from that, you know, the big topic for me is at the moment that they are desperately, and Annie, you and I had a conversation about this now a year ago. I remember when I was back at the farm, I had an interview with you and we covered this, talking about my thoughts on when we will have food shortages and what they will look like to start with. And what I said right from the off was that this winter, 2025-26 winter, they will try and cull a lot of our animals. And that's now in the process. So I don't know if people are aware what's going on across Europe at the moment. Yes, we've had the farmers' protests here, but the French are really kicking up. And this all started over one cow coming up in bumpy skin syndrome. And it just comes up in like little welts. Well, it's a bit like saying, you know, someone in your family gets a sexually transmitted disease, so you put the whole family down. You know? And
that's a very brave comparison, Mark.
You know, well, no, you just take them to the doctors and get them better. You don't put them down, do you? And then expect the whole family to be shot as well. But that's what they did. So they've gone into this farm. They found this alleged illness, which is either, and I spoke to Roger Meacock yesterday about this. Roger's a holistic vet. I don't know if you've ever interviewed him, but if you haven't, you should. He's brilliant.
Right.
Roger's very awake, very factual about PCR testing as well. And I said to him, I said, Roger, what's your thoughts on this? He said, well, it's either something they've put into the food as an additive. Now, bear in mind, we know they're testing lots of additives at the moment without people knowing. Or the fact that it's transmitted via a fly, and that fly has landed on the cow, bit the cow all over, and, you know, passed on the poison, and the cow will get better. But no, they went into the farm and killed all 200 cows. Well, the French farmers have gone ballistic about this.
Yeah. Just quickly, Mark, is that, that disease thing, is that like a new thing, or is it something that's kind of known in a thing? Is it known, like...
Anna, I think the cow's just been bitten by a fly, but they're trying to make it into something it isn't. That's my opinion. And certainly on speaking to Roger, you know, he's like, well, this is you know, they call it bumpy skin syndrome. It's not, you know, it's a bit like blue tongue. They get a cold, they sneeze, they get over it, you know. A bit like bird flu, you know. And I think we've got all these things going on in the background that people hear about on the radio or on the news, and they go, well, what does that really mean to me? All of this, whether it's bumpy skin syndrome, whether it's TB, whether it's blue tongue, whether it's bird flu, or all the other nonsense illnesses which are allegedly out there, all it's really doing is giving them a reason to cull more and more and more animals. And it's always the smaller farmers, Annas, that have got the issues, allegedly. So where it wipes out a whole family farm, that's, you know, what they do. They don't go to the big producers where the challenge is, and the illnesses tend to breed in, you know, let's say a chicken shed where they've got 1 million chickens all in one shed, and if they get a disease, they really get the disease. This is about people with small amounts of animals that are just being picked off individually one at a time to reduce the food supply, and leaving the big people in place to just earn more profits.
I've got some figures we're going to look later about how many animals have been killed on each issue. So just to give people, I think, actually a little bit of understanding, because I looked and I was a bit shocked, because I know obviously it's all it's been throughout the year, right? And well, every year throughout the year there are always issues with the one thing or the other, and obviously they're killing animals there and then. But towards the end, it seems to, when you look back and actually how horrific the amount of animals that gets done across the Europe, it's really builds a picture really.
Well, I know in America, Anna, there was one farm that lost 10 million chickens. One farm.
Yeah, I haven't gone as far as research as the America stuff, but I will have a look.
What do the figures look like for Europe?
Yeah, so okay, we're talking about obviously the bird flu, isn't it? It's been so. I know some people have been reporting as well. Apparently, they're like birds are falling, dead from the sky. I'm like, okay, I've looked, because obviously we're all for conspiracies and this.
Killing them.
Say again.
5G might be killing them.
Well, no, they say normally it could be like a crash things, like if they crash to the into the plane, if it's a massive groups of them that apparently like poisoning, the birds get poisoned by something. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that just dropped dead out of flu. So it's all there. Obviously, there's explanations for that.
Yeah.
But so Christmas chicken poultry. So the bird flu, apparently 5%, which just doesn't sound like a lot. 5% of the Christmas chickens got hit. So 300,000 birds, and this is reporting date was November 2025. 300,000 birds got killed. So the largest one, it says it was the one in Cambrai, 43,000 chickens. Right, and that's just.
And just on that note, I don't know if people are aware of this, but obviously if you take someone like Bernard Matthews Poultry Supplies, for instance, they produce millions of birds throughout the year for and any supermarkets are placing orders with people like that would probably place those orders by the end of September.
Yeah.
So they know come November
they can do it.
They're going to have left. Okay.
Yeah.
Does it not seem convenient to you that these outbreaks always happen in the end of November, December, when they've already got their figures of what they need to send to the supermarkets, and anything that's left, what they might have to feed a bit longer, gets cold and they claim on the insurance?
Yeah.
People just need to wake up to what's really going on. This is only ever about profits.
Yeah, it is the wave again. So earlier, throughout the past 3 months leading up to 1.8 million birds got done. 1.8 million just in the 3 months. Again, leading up to that. This is horrendous.
Was that across the whole of the UK, Anna, or Europe?
That is, I think it's the UK. Yeah. This one is the UK.
And Anna, that's a tiny, tiny amount in comparison to what chicken we actually get through. Bear that in mind. Whilst people think that it's large numbers, I understand that.
Yeah.
But, I think we eat something like 6 million chickens a day in the UK. So now a lot of that comes in from Poland, I have to say, and Thailand.
Yeah.
People think that we only eat English chicken. We don't. We've now got the American chicken starting to come through, which will replace the Thai chicken. But the problem is that the Thai chicken is probably slightly better because of less chlorinating. Well,
I don't think we're getting. I've done the video. We're not getting, according to government, they're dead honest that we're not getting a chlorinated chicken. That they say they were standing on their thing. Although there was a snidey thing about like that could go through Poland again, but it's not legal to rename it. The Poland can repackage the American chicken and put like produce of Poland, so long as it says reared in United Kingdom at the back. In the United States. But apparently they're still, even there, not allowed to still buy the chlorinated chicken. Who checks that? That's a different matter. Because I know when it goes through multiples, like especially packing, slaughtering houses, it goes through so many hands, it's inevitable.
Absolutely.
And then plus, of course, what that, I talked about it through illegal meat thing, when they catch like hundreds of thousands of tons of illegally imported meat through the borders, through whatever they're coming from. They say it could be Slovakia, Romania, like Moldova, those kind of countries.
Well, this is what Tesco's got caught with, wasn't it? Before, when they were all the horse meat was coming in, that was all coming in from abattoirs they didn't even know about.
Yeah, they're meant to be having a really strict standards in terms of to what goes in there. But I appreciate there's a lot of, I think, backhanding going on.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, Anna, which Tim from Pro Farming UK covered the other day,
excuse me,
is that the supermarkets are trying to push beef prices down. Right?
What, to the farmers?
To the farmers and to the public. Now,
right.
Well, they're not. No, not so much to the farmers. I stand corrected. More to the public. Now, there's a reason for that. If there is an agenda in place, let's just pretend there is for 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretend. Yeah.
Pretend there is for 1 minute.
Yeah.
An agenda in place that wants to get rid of the meat.
Yeah.
The quickest way to get rid of meat is to get consumer interest in it. Well, if you put the price up, consumer interest drops. So if you drop the price, consumer interest obviously goes up. And there seems to be a big wave at the moment with what. So if you take, we have this much stock that way, and you're in on this end, you're taking away the amount of stock you have available.
Mm-hmm.
And on this end, you've reduced the price, what brings the amount you require up. So you get rid of more cows. You eventually get to the squeeze point where there's no more animals.
Right.
And that's what they're doing. And that's exactly what they did with milk last year when they started putting the Bovia scare about. What happened? Lots of people come away from drinking natural milk. They started going on to almond milk and oat milk and all the other nonsense milks. And as a result of that, we needed less cows.
Yeah.
Now, we know without any doubt at all that Bill Gates has an agenda to get rid of our cows because they burp and fart. And, you know, and they're apparently 6%, he says, of the world's carbon dioxide and methane gases, or it's methane, isn't it, from the cow side? He's complaining about. And, you know, we have to look at all these things, Anna. And, you know, when you look at all of these things, and you always have to ask the question, who's behind the money?
Yeah.
You know,
Mark, just out of interest, do bulls burp as well?
Yeah.
So why do they not give that to bulls then? The additives, technically.
You don't have as many bulls, do you?
No, but still, they're still contributing, aren't they?
Well, of course they are, but boys can't produce without girls, Anna. So if you get rid of all the girls, the boys are worthless, aren't they?
Well, yeah,
they're all going to die off eventually. It's a foregone conclusion. You can't have one sex without the other.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can if you're slug.
I think that's a real crucial bit for people to understand. The reason beef prices are dropping is because they're about to get rid of beef.
Yeah. See, somebody commented there, you're like, we stock up our freezers with meat whilst we can, and then they say something like a blackout comes, and then you know, wipe stuff out. Sorry, hello. Actually, I don't know if I said hello to whoever's joined as well. Sorry, guys. I've missed the messages in the beginning, but yeah, you know, you could. That's the thing, though, isn't it? You can stock up all you like, and then if they do decide to bring the red flag thing, you know, to link it into with what's happening or blame on what is happening, and then of course it's highly possible. But I haven't seen yet the beef prices going up, but I did see somebody.
Well, no, they're going to go down.
Say again.
The beef prices are going down.
Sorry, I haven't seen them going down yet, but I did see somebody on social media taking photos of the supermarkets, saying that they're limiting the amount of I think it's actually an article, amount of beef that you can buy, or beef and lamb, in fact. Because they're doing this because, you know, a lot of busy people don't have time to like shop a week in advance or something. They might come right before Christmas to do their shopping. So to make sure that there's enough food left for those people, we're going to be limiting like beef cuts to like, you know, 4 cuts or something. Sorry, really bothers my eyes. Sorry, I do apologize.
Anna, there's a message on there from Matt, which is a good point. He said he's read an interesting document saying about seaweed stops burping and farting. It is a true thing. I think it's the kelp seaweed, which is also very, very good as a feed additive. It's really good.
Well, the ruminate, though, by Mr. Gates is made of the seaweed.
But that's not the issue.
It's so it claims to be.
Yeah, it's all the other crap they're putting in it, like the chemicals. Now, what I would say to people, do not believe that they've stopped Bovia. Do not believe that at all. Because if you go to Scotland, they're still building the same damn factory they were building to put Bovia through. So they haven't stopped.
We did say, we talked last week. We missed last week, didn't we? Missed 2 weeks. I do apologize for that as well. But no, the fact that just because they stopped the trialing part and the gathering information, M&S is still doing that. They've got their own farms, they're doing it, and I'm pretty sure many others as well. But again, I've done talked about it on the video again a couple of days back. There is another additive that so far that we know, one already used openly in the UK, apparently claims to be natural one. It's got like a garlic and citrus oil, apparently. I haven't dived into that one just as yet. But there's a new one called AB01, and this is being developed, right? And it's started, they did some trials like beginning of 2025 this year, and apparently they're working on it, and they're going to be doing more trials and more experiments between now and the 2029. So although that, I don't think it's a natural compound. I don't think, again, I'm not going to speculate, but they're talking about the reduction between 60 and 70% up against the Bovet, which is meant to be 15 to 25% or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so they're not stopping. And
No,
I
of
think
course
that
they're
that Bovet has been put there as a first initial thing to take the brunt of all the people's
Yes.
unhappiness. And because whilst, sorry, I have to do it, sorry, really plays chaos for some reason with my...
And I'll tell you something else that I found out the other day. It's while you're just taking a breath. I found out something the other day. Now, lots of people in the UK will have either voted 10 years ago to stay in Europe or to vote for Brexit and come out of Europe.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't know is that at the same time that we were struggling to put a trade deal together with Europe, we signed a trade deal with Trump.
Right.
And part of that trade deal was to have 7, and I mean huge, food distribution centres built in the UK.
Well, from America?
Right. From America. So they're built by Amazon. The first one's already been built up near Manchester now, where they will do drone deliveries by 2030 of food direct to your door.
Right.
Now, as we won't have any farmers by 2030, these units, and Anna, I got sent some video footage the other day of the one they're building up near Manchester. I don't know if anyone travelling about the motorways has seen the Amazon warehouses, and they're huge,
aren't they? They're like football fields.
100 times bigger than an Amazon warehouse.
So what would they do, Mark? So what would they get? Products from America, or
and then distribute. So you'll go online and do your shopping with Amazon, and Amazon will deliver it via drone to your door.
So would that be just food, like raw food, like meat, or would that be everything?
All food.
Right. American crap.
All processed food.
Right. Well, so American crap.
We're not going to have a factory producing, fresh Brussels sprouts or fresh shallots or whatever it might be. This is about more chemical-based processed crap.
Surely, do you know what? There's been an article. Apparently, people there's a search for what they call them a rainbow veg, not for any other reason but the fact they are multicolored and suggested by nutritionists to consume more whole foods like a whole milk and butter. Right? Apparently, because people are waking up to the idea of, people like obviously ourselves pushing the narrative against the ultra processed foods because they're obviously really bad for you. Apparently, some people are waking up. People are ditching the margarines and everything else. And it's like, there was even an article say, I made a butter for £1 and it's even better than Lurpak. Lurpak is not even butter, right? It's a concoction of
plastic,
things.
Isn't it?
I know, it's like, okay. But people, however way people feel, whatever they've been consuming, not here to judge. The fact is that people are bringing up or raising up to the idea that actually, let's understand what we're actually eating.
Well, Anna, look, one of the things I did a video this week, a 20-minute video talking about, because someone messaged me and they said, look, Mark, what's the point of you doing your Food Finders Hub website? There's lots of other, websites out there talking about good quality food. I said, but
you're not just talking about it, though, are you?
Ours isn't about selling food directly from the farmer to the consumer. That's a small part, and I did a 20-minute video kind of explaining where we're going with the CIC and about how I see all of the things around food, nutrition, growing, education of food. Everything has got to fit together, because the problem we have is that a governmental department comes along and with a great idea and they go, we're going to do this. It's going to make farming brilliant. Then they come along and they say, we're going to make education brilliant. Then they come along and say, we're going to make cooking brilliant. And they never, ever sit down and put the whole flipping thing together properly to start with. It's always bits and bobs bolted on for over the last 1,000 years. And what we need to do is go for a completely new food structure. So I said, what we're trying to do with the Food Hub and the CIC, the Community Interest Foundation CIC, is to build a new infrastructure for food and to encourage people who want to go on that journey with us, the people like yourself and people like, our listeners, as well as farmers, because lots of farmers want to make that transition to go across from chemical farming to more holistic farming styles and more regenerative farming styles. And there is a massive demand for that food coming through the system. And at the moment, the demand is outweighing the supply.
Yeah.
That's how much people like you and I have made a difference in a year.
So why on earth are they thinking that's a good idea to sell shit from their warehouse? I don't
Because
understand
it's
that.
profits, Anna. It's nothing more. It's all about profit. Now, bear in mind, call me a conspiracy theorist here, please do, by all means. But
No.
I'll have my tinfoil hat on next time. But in the 2030 agenda, it states that by 2030 we do not need farmers, not just in the UK,
Yes, yeah,
worldwide. Right? We know that.
Yeah.
Now, it's not that we don't need farmers. What we don't need is small family farms, which I believe is the answer.
Yeah.
Small farms producing small, good quality food for local community, that's the answer. Not shipping asparagus from Argentina and pears from South Africa and apples from New Zealand and, you know, whatever it might be. That's all nonsense. So what we're trying to achieve through the Food Finders Hub is to get people to understand what a new food system will look like and then take part in that.
Yeah.
Because as you know, Anna, you've built up a channel with tens of thousands of people now. That says to me, tens of thousands of people want to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There isn't tens of thousands of people going, oh, I'm just going to sign up to a channel just to leave stupid comments.
Yeah.
It's not. It's people genuinely interested in what you've got to say. Same as myself. You know, we've got across social media about 80,000. Straight away, same position. They're there because they believe in what you're saying. So if they're there because of what you're saying, then you're in the position that you are winning that battle. And our audiences are still growing.
Yeah.
And that says to me the demand for what we're talking about is growing.
Yeah. But now, do you know, with the ultra processed foods, obviously it is horrendously bad. There's more and more things coming out there. And I know somebody said, obviously people will trade quality for the convenience. See, I'm all for convenience in a way. When you're busy, there are shortcuts to some degree. Obviously, it depends how busy your life is and what you do. But to me, having, like, if you're talking about, for example, a chicken breast, you cook chicken breast, or you cook, which I've noticed such thing exists as a chicken steak. I'm like, whoa, and I had to pick it up and have a look at that. Chicken steak, which is basically looks like a breaded chicken, but it's not. It was like 37% chicken, and then you had the pea protein and some other protein, some other fillers. So I'm like, okay, technically it might sound like it's more convenient because it's there. So you put this in the oven, but then what's the difference? You can put the chicken breast in the oven rather than the one that's not actually even truly chicken, which I honestly didn't think that kind of thing existed. But
Anna, I watched a program the other day. I got sent a video by a friend of mine who's living out in Thailand at the moment, and he said he'd just been to this factory for a look round to see about work, you know, and he's traveling around the world. And he said, sent me this video of how they put chicken drumsticks together.
Right.
And they make the chicken, they get a piece of bamboo, they dip it in like a gluey agent, which makes the knobble up on the end for the what looks like the knuckle, and then they dip it in this chickeny stuff to make it look like it's a chicken drumstick.
But that's intentionally, though, not to deceive the customers. That's intentionally for the flavour, surely.
No, this is not chicken.
Is it advertised as just a snack?
They sell it into the UK as chicken.
Right. I can't find it because Thailand, right? I've been in Thailand. It's one of the healthiest foods. They eat wholesome. They
may well do, but that doesn't mean they ship it around the world.
I can't, but people surely would know unless it pretends to be something else, like that chicken thing. It's
lots and lots of people have been saying there's lots and lots of videos about this on social media at the moment about
fake food. It's fake food, isn't it? That's what it comes down to. Fake food.
Fake food, yeah. You know, I mean, we're looking at chicken as a whole. You know, we've got chicken at the moment where you've got.
Sorry, somebody commented. I can't believe it's not chicken. That's a take on that butter one, isn't it?
What's coming into the country that is not chicken. Now, what it is, I don't know. And it is clearly, you know, there's lots of videos out there, Anna, when you look. And I'll tell you one I saw this week, which blew my head. You know, we've talked about Petri dish meat production in factories. They're now doing it with fucking vegetables as well. Fruit and vegetables on Petri dishes grown in labs.
Right. And that's to save what exactly? A planet?
Well, yeah, because they haven't got to travel as far, has it? So they can grow a lump of pear this big and then chop it all up into little bits to stick in these tubs of mixed fruit, and you won't know the difference.
Right. I didn't even know it's possible. But to be fair, even the idea of growing the meat in a lab, I still can't get my head around. I just cannot.
I won't get my head around that. I want to see a cow going moo before I eat it.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. Whatever. It's everything. It's literally going to the stage of replacement milk from the the larvae stuff, the butter out of the air by Mr. Gates. Everything is there to make our food just not food. It's just so hard to find really anything that I haven't really touched or intended to touch in terms of the quality, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
look, when you look at it, Anna, the challenge we've got at the moment is, especially in the UK and America, processed food's huge, right?
Yeah.
Slightly less across Europe, but across England and America, big time problems. And that processed food is very profitable for the companies that sell it.
Yeah, that's why they make it, isn't it?
And that isn't going to change. We're not going to get a change in the food system while the profit is the main negotiating factor. And because they can't produce anything good and sell it for what the supermarkets are selling it for. Because, if you produce a cow and, you turn that cow into £10,000, for instance, in meat sales.
Yeah.
You need to turn it into £20,000 to make it profitable. So how do they make it profitable? Well, they pump it full of water, pump it full of steroids, pump it full of, everything else to make it last. And they can't make it pay without doing that. So the only way it then works is for the food prices to rise.
Yeah.
So we've either got to have higher food prices to get good quality food, or we're going to continue down this road of crap food.
Well, they would do, because they don't want us to be healthy, though, do they? Sorry, I can see there's a lot of chicken jokes as well coming in there.
See that?
But they don't want people to either. This is why they introducing all the kind of thing and make it easy. And I've recorded a video, which I'm not going to put the spoiler alert on, but it's about how it's basically done to control to what people choose. And again, I'll do this maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Watch out for this one. It's actually horrendous to what is happening, that people are just really not aware what is happening.
No, they're not. And do you know what, Anna? I genuinely believe that people are waking up to the food situation. I believe that. I don't know if you've heard of anyone's heard of a guy called Rambling Henry.
No.
Oh, he's brilliant, and you do well to look him up, Anna. He digs into what is actually in food and what the components are of that food.
Right.
He's only a young lad in his late 20s, and I picked him up the other day to take him down to Brighton to a conference we were, going to down there, and we've been invited down to look at a farm process. What they're doing down there is a new style of farming, and they said, would you pick Henry up en route? And I was like, so I had 5 hours nearly with him. It was brilliant. Such a knowledgeable lad. But, him again, he's got a following of about 100,000 followers. There's all these different people that are out there that have got 80, 100,000 followers. And that says to me, Anna, they're not, and it's not the same 100,000 people following everybody. We know that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yes, there'll be some, but, what we're seeing is a direct move by the general public to want to find the knowledge about good food.
Yeah, still the minority. Minority, Mark.
We all deliver that in slightly different ways, don't we?
Yeah. And it's still minority of people. I think a lot of people still just don't. And this is why those companies are still thriving in terms of, the profits, because of the food.
Well, I think the problem is, Anna, in reality, if you want to go to a farm shop and buy a really nice piece of good steak, it's probably going to cost you 20 quid. And if you go to the supermarket, it's probably going to cost you 7. And that's the reality, But what are you getting for what you pay for? This is what I always challenge people on. It isn't a like-for-like product.
Yeah.
Yes, it might be an 8-ounce steak against an 8-ounce steak, but this steak directly from the farmer weighs 8 ounces. This one weighs 5 ounces, and it's got 3 ounces of water pumped into it, and steroids and preservatives and all the other shit what your body can't deal with and process.
Yeah, people got to be careful though with the farmers.
People are starting to understand what we've been talking about.
Yeah, people got to be careful with the butchers though. They make sure that they do get the people got to be careful still with the butchers, that they make sure the butchers know where the meat come from, because you know that the backhanded the entrance of the illegal meats obviously is going somewhere, and the chances are it is going into the small places, maybe restaurants and stuff, but still, is the best ones is to know where the butcher can tell you exactly where the meat come from, to be guaranteed you actually do get what you pay for.
I mean, what I will say from my experience of doing all that side of the industry, that the majority of the meat what's coming into the country that shouldn't be is going into the supermarket supply chain. It's not going into the small wholesalers, because what tends to happen is that a farmer produces meat, it goes into a set abattoir, it's then sold to a set supplier that sells it to a set bank of butchers. Butchers normally, you know, like when we had our farm shop and butchery side, we only had one main meat supplier. They only dealt with one abattoir. They only dealt with 25 farms. So we always knew down the system where the meat was coming from. Yeah. Unlike supermarkets who rely on a pack house putting together a product for them, they just say, well, you know, we're looking for 25,000 8-ounce steaks. And they go, yeah, okay. And some of that might come from Poland, you know, fucking Nigeria, Istanbul, Constantinople, wherever it comes from, you know. And this is what we're up against with the supermarkets. They've got no accountability for where their food comes from. Well, they've got no idea where it comes from.
I did read that they do have, or research, that they do have a quite strict things in terms of the origin of the meat. So
the fact that it has to say where it was packed.
Well,
it comes in with a Union Jack on it in a supermarket with a big sign above it saying British farmers, and then when you look on the back of it, it says, you know, chicken produced in Thailand, or
I would love to see that.
The trouble is that, you know yourself, and you've done enough videos on this. We've spoken about Red Tractor, we've spoken about Soil Association. It's all corrupt. The whole bloody lot of it is corrupt, and you know, and the supermarkets are the biggest player at the flipping game of corruption.
Yeah, sorry, no, I'm just reading the comments. Yes, no, absolutely. It's Show the numbers then. Sorry, because we talked about the Callan. We digressed as usual, didn't we?
Sorry.
Right. So the blue tongue then. So that is the blue tongue. Is, you say it's like a flu, like a cow flu?
Yeah, it's just cow flu. Yeah.
So since July 2025, so they had 249 cases, 230 in England and 19 in Wales. Okay. And I said by the cases and like an outbreaks, it's not individual, like one case is not one animal. This is like an outbreak case, like outbreaks. So it could be herds. So it could be 249 herds that's been outbroken. Sorry, that's the wrong word. Right. So then again, they didn't say any about the culling, how many cullings, couldn't find that. But this is from the government website. Yeah. So foot and mouth, they had, where is that? So it's the EU biggest issue. Oh no, hold on, sorry, bird flu, sorry.
Yeah.
Should put it all together. Bird flu across Europe. Okay, so September to November, they had 2,896 detections across 29 countries. Again, this is 2,000 outbreaks, technically.
So that's 100 per country, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but this is obviously, again, a herd, not individual cases. Apparently, 2,454 was in wild birds. So that's bringing you to wonder, right? If it is true. So the wild birds are worse than domestic birds then. So what are we doing? Culling the millions of chickens.
And Anna, have you noticed there's no culling policy in place for the wild birds?
But that's my point. That's my point. If that's what...
And I think that just goes to show to the public, you know, we're led to believe that it jumps from one farm to another by wild birds. That's what we've been told the system is.
Right.
And we know that isn't the case. We've pulled DEFRA up on it not being the case. Vets have come to the table and said that is not what's happening.
Yeah.
Yet here we are, still having the animals culled and still no cull on the wild birds. So let's say it's true, let's just say by the perception of power it's true, then it means that the government doesn't want to stop it spreading because they're allowing the wild birds to continue to live, or that it is true and it isn't true and they're just culling the animals for the sake of it. Whichever way you go, it doesn't make sense.
Or it doesn't exist. So exactly, that's the hard part that we can't really figure out. We can only speculate. But anyway, so as of 10th of December in Europe, they had 654 outbreaks in 23 countries. Poland reported 8.7 million being impacted for culling. Germany, 1 million of poultry killed. And then, right, so the lumpy skin disease, France. So 3,300 cattle slaughtered after 113 outbreaks recorded as of 14th of December. So I don't know what the population of cattle in like France or anything, but yeah, that sounds like a lot. But you're saying the farmers obviously kicking off because they're doing what they're doing with the chickens and everything else, right? So they're culling them.
Yeah, exactly the same. And they're still using PCR tests, and this is the problem. You know, when you're still using the PCR test to do that testing, and we know the PCR test is flawed to start with, you know, it's designed to see if someone was bloody pregnant, for goodness sake. It's no good using it for a flu virus.
Yeah, horrendous, isn't it? So we've got the African swine fever and the wild boar detections. Right. Do we get the swine fever in this country?
Yeah.
We do.
We used to. I don't know about now. We certainly used to be something that. Yeah, it used to be something that we used to struggle with the pigs, especially. And back in the 80s, we had Orgiski's swine flu. They were all serious issues. Now, they were, in my opinion, Anna, real illnesses.
Right.
And I will say, you know, I was on a farm where they got Orgiski's, and what I will say on that is my belief structure.
Yeah.
And I've got to say my belief, because I was about 16 at the time when they had the outbreak, and we were told, you know, that DEFRA came in, they did the tests, and that the herd was going to die, so they were going to put everything down.
Right.
Was that the case then, that that Orgiski's was as bad as I believed?
Yeah.
Or was it just a bit like bird flu is now, and it's like, oh, just don't worry about it, we'll just cull everything instead because it will stop it spreading? Now, we know that we were told back in the 80s that with BSE, for instance, the deadly disease, what was passing, you know, this Neuron-Knuckles disease, whatever it was called, into humans, and they would end up, you know, that, and it was all proven to be bollocks later. We know, you know, the trouble is, Anna, people buy what's in the news today.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, when the truth comes out, it's a bit like jibby jabs, you know. Everyone bought the fact that everyone had got to have one. Well, lots of people bought it. I didn't, but lots of people bought into that. And now the information's coming out that perhaps more people were harmed by having jibby jabs than what weren't. What would have lived by not having it. Then, you know, but the people took the notice of the information at the time. Yeah,
that's what people do. I think it's natural human behavior. You kind of people, what they say, too busy, but generally people so involved in their lives, people think, okay, this is what's currently happening, let's process that, move on with the life. People don't, I think, either have time or efforts or desire to make sense over things. I don't know, to be fair, but it's understandable. But anyway, so the fever, African fever, Italy, a recent crisis, 50,000 pigs. EU, they had outbreak in domestic pigs, so oh no, hold on. No, they were saying in the EU apparently that's dropped by 83%. Well, that's a huge drop in outbreak, isn't it? What did they do different? And they've got the foot and mouth disease in Germany, 14 water buffalo herd culled, plus 200 pigs in the nearby farms as a precaution. So 14 water buffalo herd culled and 200 pigs because they were nearby. Is being killed as a precaution.
Can't be spread by air.
Oh, this is the same way. Like we talked, I think, was the beginning of this year, or there was a farm that had was it 1 million chickens killed because they found 8 chickens in isolated barn, right inside. So they got rid of all of them, a whole bloody million. I can't imagine how that.
This is what I say. This is what you're up against, and while people buy into the nonsense, that's what I say to people: if you've registered chickens at home, deregister them straight away. Tell them you've got rid of them, because you know the next thing they'll be coming for your chickens at home. And, you know, we know what the game plan is. The game plan is to remove all protein from our diets.
Yeah.
And then they can sell us the protein they want us to have, which is the bugs.
Yeah. It's already, somebody actually said that. I'm going to look into that, because apparently a lot of products already say protein, but doesn't actually mention the protein. So I was going to be like,
I'm right in saying the supermarkets now have about 112 items in
right,
that have got like ground cricket powders and different insects in them.
Well, to be fair, there are some brands actually happily advertise that. So that's not particularly a new thing, especially the protein bars. I can't remember the name of the brand, and I'm not going to say it publicly if I did without clarifying. But apparently some, because, excuse me, there are people that are, how to kind of put it politely, people that think that is not a big deal to eat the crickets and insects. People think it's good for the environment because it's going to save us eating animals. So there are people that think that it's inevitable. And they're the people that would buy a protein bar that will have a cricket powder in it. So there will be companies specifically marketing that to specific people. And no doubt it's going to be coming out. It's going to be the best protein per gram, which I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it's actually the mushroom, but no. I'm pretty sure we're told that it's going to be the best one ever, and people will buy into that, and it will have stuff on it. But I'm going to have a look, actually, out of interest. But yeah, it's inevitable. This is how it's going. But you cannot replace a steak, right? Or
Anna,
whatever.
I'll tell you something else. I can't remember which mushroom it is, but I had an email the other day from a guy, and I can't remember the name of the mushroom now. Sorry.
Lion's mane?
No, it was one of the medical ones. They now stopped the production and the allowance of it to be sold to the general public because it's too healthy. So this is one of the ones what is claimed to cure cancer and different things. So as a result of that, they've now got the fact that they've banned it worldwide.
Right.
And if you look into it, you'll find out.
I know the lion's mane is
you do a whole show on it, I'll tell you, because it's just like, when you look at the information, you're like, well, it's obvious. They've been selling this for, this has been a mushroom, what they've been using for thousands of years. And as a result of that, it keeps people healthy. It's good for the immune system and so forth. And then now here we are, we're banning it. Well, that sounds. So
they're banning it, what? Banning in the production or growing of it?
Growing and the sale of.
Right, I have to look into it. So ban of the mushroom. But so you don't remember the name?
Which one it is? Are
you sure that's not lion's mane? Because this is the only one I know that's really strong, powerful. I've grown one, and I was going to do originally. I'm going to try to get to the point of trying to create my own substrate through like coffee, spent coffee beans or whatever. I don't know, a different matter anyway. But the mushrooms are a good way, especially. I'm sure
somebody watching this, someone who's listening into us, will be able to just quickly Google that and find out which mushroom it is, because I cannot remember.
No.
There you go. Someone's put it on the bottom there.
What, shiitake?
No, the one above.
No, they can't do them. Caduceus.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce that.
I don't know how you pronounce it. That's why I couldn't remember it, because it's not a word I knew.
Okay.
Coming from the fruit and veg trade, I know most mushrooms, but I hadn't heard of that one. It was like...
Is it because people get high on it, though? They can't just say, sorry, it's too healthy, we can't have it. I can't imagine.
I don't know. I know they've banned it.
Have you got 5 kilos of lion's mane? What, do you grow it? Chris, somebody says. Because I bought one of those kits last year. They're bloody expensive, like £25 for a box, right? And it creates like a mushroom thing. It tastes like meat, I give it that, or texture-wise, it kind of resembles if you cook it properly.
What's that, chicken in the wood?
No, the lion's mane. If you squash it, how you cook it, it kind of there. But chicken of the woods apparently even more like chicken.
That's even more like chicken. It's unbelievable. We had a load when we were in Scotland on the tour. We stayed with this lovely lady who got a beech forest, and there was loads of chicken in the wood growing there. And I said to her, can I cut it? And she said, oh yeah, help yourself. And we cut loads, and that was mind blowing, because it was more like chicken than synthetic chicken was. And I was like, oh my God, this is just
amazing.
This isn't chicken.
Things like that though, when if God forbid the whole malarkey happened to the protein, people be eating bloody every single mushroom under the sun probably, wouldn't they, for a bit of protein in that. Yeah. So okay, so let's just catch up quickly on the thing. Right, okay, because French, Russian bags and peppers, probably. Anyhow, the somebody mentioned about the when talking about the American warehouse and obviously the drones and say digital ID. You briefly touched on that the other day when we spoke, didn't you, about the Like what happens like, if Facebook, right, getting hacked?
Exactly.
Biggest, like,
yeah. I mean, Anna, if they can hack my Facebook, you know, which is one of the biggest, most secure platforms. Well, it isn't, but should be.
No,
in the world,
yes, no, yeah.
You know, when you think how much data is held by Facebook,
Yeah.
then imagine what it's going to be like when we've got digital ID and digital money. Now, my concerns on the digital ID and digital money have never been about the really about the concern of the security of it. They've always been about the physical knowledge, what they will hold on me.
Yeah.
You know, and if I don't want the opportunity for someone to say to me, Mark, you know, there's your wages. Not that I, you know, I get any, but you know, if there was your wages, and you can only spend that within a 15-minute drive of your house. You can't go in. You know, no, sorry, you've already had one steak this month. You can't have another one because your carbon credits don't allow it, and all this BS. So for me, that's what it was about. But it really put it home to me at the weekend. Like the security side of this is actually far, far worse. Because if someone wants to get in and hack your ID and then hack your account, and then hack into your money side,
they take you all your credits, wouldn't they?
Then you get up in the morning and think to yourself, well, I'll just pop down the local shop, you know, which is the one I'm allowed to go and shop in and buy the stuff I'm allowed to buy, or that I'm told I can buy, you know. And you go there and you go, you can't even get through the door of the shop because your ID's been hacked. And it's like, what a bloody useless system are we heading towards, Anna?
Yeah, it's crazy. One thing I do wonder, like I was talking to my other half as well, like talking to the, what's that?
Matt's comment is banned because it's dangerous to people's bank accounts.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, with the IDs and 15-minute cities. If you know, how would the jobs work? Just do we all think is going to be a universal income?
Absolutely. Now, bear in mind, Anna,
that
I think where we're heading, I think a lot of us realise that AI and robots are going to take over a lot of what we all do in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
And people like you and I are ahead of the game, Anna, because all we do is play on social media now, so we'll be all right.
Well, do you know what? We're not.
They'll
because
pay us to do it.
No, because AI online, and I did a video yesterday, it really pissing me off, though. It's the videos that come out, right, to do with the prepping, whether it's the human reading AI, or is it just AI? And they talk about preparedness and stuff, or food, in fact, treading on somebody's toes here. And it's just, it's horrendous. It's horrendous information they come up with. But those people's channels have no idea. They're just doing this because they're just reading it out from whatever's created it for them. But how easy, because those channels seem to get a lot of push, because they're clearly doing everything correct. How easy is that to override me and you and everybody else who truly are fighting for the clarity and the quality of food by having those channels overshouting us by almost millions of views, which could be then trained into whatever they want the truth to be.
You'll just eventually swap all that information over, won't you? So you go from really good quality information, and over the course of a year, you swap it back the other way. It's a bit like processed meat. They didn't bring it in overnight. You know, they just gradually bring it in. And that's, I think, really, from my side, where the knowledge and information's heading.
Yeah.
And AI, certainly, I mean, Gloria said to me the other day, she said that...
Sorry.
Anna, I need to take this 1 second, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Hi, Mummy, I'm just on a call. I said, I'm just doing an interview.
That's right, it's a live show, that's fine.
No one's been... All right. Oh, she's gone. Sorry, Anna.
That's all right, no worries.
I just sat in my mum's house waiting for the electrician, and she's just like to keep ringing me every 30 minutes to say, "Have you been yet?"
So she's still there.
Been yet.
That's fine. So but my point is, they can override, right, the knowledge that people need to know, because people watch without understanding that it could be a gender that's hiding behind somebody's or something. Yes. That's the worrying part, you see. When they start saying, "Oh, that's all right to eat crickets. It's healthy for you. It's better for you. It's good for you. Forget the vegetables. Don't need that."
And that is where I think we're at a point where we're almost getting to the point of when you look at the 2030 to 2050 agenda, and the 2050 agenda says we need 80% less people on the planet. Well, if you haven't got anything for them to do, you don't need all these people.
No.
And you also can govern the 20% what are left with the information you want them to. But you know, when I was trying to think which what the film was called with Will Smith in it, where all the robots. Was it iRobot?
iRobot, yeah.
Yeah, where they're all standing in the warehouse.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a video released the other day by a Chinese company that are making robots nearly identical to those, and it was film footage. It wasn't AI. It was film footage of a factory they've got where all these robots are set up.
Okay.
And there was just millions of these damn robots all getting ready to be shipped all around the world. They're just waiting for the chip upgrades and so forth. And it was like, they're heading us into a completely different direction to what you and I might want to see for our families.
Yeah.
And that's scary. I think it really, concerns me considerably. When you look at the world we lived in, for me, 50 years ago to where we are now.
Yeah.
And then you look where we'll be in another 50 years. Jesus Christ, that's scary.
Yeah. Sorry, somebody's whinging about the adverts. They shouldn't be playing when we're live adverts. Somebody said, but okay. Anyway, at least our signal's been, nobody's, normally they kind of interrupt and we go, and now we managed to talk without any problems.
But today it's adverts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, well. Anyhow.
I bet the adverts for things like KFC and McDonald's, aren't they? Tell us what the adverts are.
Well, somebody said the prices of the KFC or something is like horrendous. Like, I'm not sure if somebody said, whether my other half said somebody bought some at work or something, like a bucket of chicken for like 23 quid or something for like 3 legs or something stupid. It's like, boys, that'd probably be lab printed.
Must be real chicken.
I know, for that sort of price. My goodness, you can print it cheaper. Oh, crazy. Anyway.
They're advertising tinfoil hats.
So nothing wrong with a little bit of tin hat. The thing is that you've got to be, I think, everybody's to some degree have their own conspiracy theories, really, to what it's not necessarily about people trying to get you, but I think
conspiracy theories until
they're truth, yeah. I know. But everybody's to some degree, unless you totally have no interest on knowing what's happening, it's what it is, really, anyway. But there we are.
Absolutely.
Okay. So anyway, we covered pretty much, really. We wanted to talk about the animals, but we talked about everything else and animals. It usually has.
Well, I think we did cover the animal side, and I think
we did. Yes.
But I think the important thing for people to understand is, if you want real meat, push to get real meat and get it from a butcher, a farm shop. Don't go to flipping supermarkets. Cut them sods out at every sodding opportunity. Most people, Anna, that are going to be watching our shows are going to go and buy food inside the next 7 days. In between now and Christmas, this is really, really now about time to support the small guys, and you can find lists of them on foodfinders.org.
Yeah, if people local, I totally get it. That for me, I said it's for many people as well. For many people, Christmas time prices and everything else, but majority of people that do, obviously, who can, then yes, of course, that's what it needs to be done anyway. Any other questions then before we guys go? Anybody wants to ask us anything?
And I see someone commenting on there about halal.
Yeah, because I did the video the other day. I think I don't know. Upset some people.
I've always been very outspoken against halal.
Yeah.
We seem to be in a very awkward position at the minute, because most people don't realise this, but most of the big slaughterhouses have been bought up by Muslim companies.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they've deliberately done that so they can change our meat supply.
Right.
We have very few abattoirs left in the country, and all the ones that are left are nearly all halal.
Yeah, that's what people said. Yeah. But
so you then can't, if you're a farmer, you can't take it to an abattoir and get it back non-halal. People say, oh, well, I'm not going to. We haven't got a choice.
No.
We can't find anywhere else to send it. And at this point, either the government's got to step in on this, or the public have got to start paying for abattoirs.
So just saying, sorry, I mentioned the other day, I've met a lady that is the farmer. She said, weren't you looking at the or talked about of having farmers having their own their own abattoirs? Yeah. Is that something that's in progress? Or
just to give you an idea on this before we go, at this point in time, it costs £40,000 to get a license for an abattoir.
Right
now, what we're trying to work out is a way in which we can get a £40,000 license, and that license could cover potentially tens of thousands of mobile abattoirs.
Yeah.
all owned by one organisation.
Right.
So the abattoir is the company rather than an organisation that has 40,000 bloody different units going all over the country.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason they do it. They do it so you want an annual license, which is £40,000. To get that annual license, most people would go, well, we're never going to be able to afford to do that. And that's the reason it's done. Because for a big company, they just build that, if they're processing 1 million units a week, 40,000 is pennies on each unit.
How much it costs to cull an animal? Do you know?
Sheep's about 60 quid now. It used to be 20 quid.
So surely 40,000 a year on the grand scheme of things, that's not really a lot, is it?
It's not. But then if you're only, a small abattoir and you're only going to do, I don't know, one guy on his own, if he's culling and butchering, wouldn't do no more than about 6 or 7 animals a day.
Yeah.
So that then doesn't stack up to the massive abattoirs where they're going through and, true. Huge production lines. Yeah. But if you could times that by the amount of abattoirs you have across the country, then maybe you could build that into the structure.
Yeah.
So, and that's something I think as a CIC we need to bring to the table. And, we would like to be able to fund that further down the road. We're in the middle of talks with one of the political parties at the moment to see if we could help them put together the agricultural policy as a fact.
Yeah.
And we've been working through that with them for months. So there's lots of things going on, Anna, what people aren't aware about, positive stuff in the background that we just need to get to.
Yeah.
Those changes coming to fruition. And at the moment, the powers to be don't want those changes to play.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Sorry, somebody else says that
from our side, Anna, we get it all in place, ready, and then when there's a change of policy, a change of leadership, we can go in there and start again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, I said somebody said the adverts coming up on the other channels, but at least my channel is monetized. At least they're not just like going anywhere. At least I'll get a 5p or something. I don't know. Anyway, cool. Okay, so if there's no questions, then that we're good. We covered what we wanted to talk about today. I doubt they'll be doing, because next week it's, my goodness, are we Christmas next week,
Thursday? Yeah.
Oh my goodness, so there'll be no a live stream, and of course doubt there'll be one.
You're not up for doing a show Christmas Day? Oh, come on, Annie, you lightweight. What are you doing?
Once before I did consider, should I just put the camera out there in the kitchen and I'll just do roast dinner, people just pop in and chat. But it's like, I normally wake up like, okay, let's have a glass of Prosecco and start doing the vegetables.
Can't really do a show while you're half drunk, can you? Right.
No, you could. You might actually get a better audience. Who knows? Anyway, okay, well, thank you, Mark, ever so much for being here again. Thank you, everybody, for joining us again and contributing, having the conversations and all the messages we get. Thank you ever so much for that. Obviously, I will put the Christmas message out, but hopefully, obviously, yes, there's going to be no live chat on Christmas Day. I doubt it, but who knows? We might change our mind. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for watching, and I will see you guys hopefully in a couple of weeks.
Talk soon.
All right. Bye. Bye-bye.